Work is part of life for most people. Some form of effort, some form of contribution, some form of responsibility, some form of participation in creating, maintaining, supporting, or improving something. Work can take many forms: a career, a job, a business, caring for a family, maintaining a home, learning a skill, solving problems, helping others, building something over time. Work is not inherently heavy, but for many people, work often feels heavy, not only physically, not only mentally, but psychologically. Heavy with expectation, heavy with pressure, heavy with comparison, heavy with concern about the future, heavy with questions about worth, heavy with the quiet sense that something about the self is always being evaluated. Work becomes more than participation. It becomes proof. Proof of value, proof of capability, proof of success, proof of progress, proof of identity. And when work becomes tied to identity, psychological weight increases. Because now each effort feels like it carries personal meaning. Each result feels like it reflects something about who you are. Each mistake feels personal. Each success feels necessary. Each delay feels threatening. Each uncertainty feels uncomfortable. The activity itself may not have changed, but the meaning placed on the activity has changed. The mind often connects work to survival, to stability, to future security, to personal adequacy, to social standing, to identity. And while work does contribute to practical stability, the psychological meaning attached to work often extends far beyond the practical function. Work begins to feel like something that must always go well, must always progress, must always improve, must always move forward, because the mind believes something about the self depends on it. This creates tension, because work rarely unfolds in perfect lines. Projects take longer than expected. Challenges appear unexpectedly. Feedback changes direction. Circumstances evolve. Opportunities shift. Learning curves exist. Growth takes time. Work often includes uncertainty, periods of adjustment, periods of difficulty, periods of learning. When identity is tied tightly to work, these natural fluctuations begin to feel threatening, as if temporary challenges indicate something permanent, as if difficulty suggests inadequacy, as if uncertainty suggests instability. But work is rarely a perfect representation of identity. It is participation in a dynamic environment. Conditions change, markets change, technologies change, organizations change, people change, understanding develops, skills improve, direction evolves. Work is part of an ongoing interaction with reality, not a fixed statement about who you are. Psychological weight often appears when work becomes connected to the need to constantly prove something. Prove competence, prove intelligence, prove worth, prove reliability, prove importance, prove progress. This creates internal pressure, because proving is endless. The standard can always move. The expectations can always increase. The comparison can always continue. But participation does not require constant proof. Participation requires engagement, responsiveness, learning, adjustment, effort, contribution. Work can function more effectively when it is not constantly burdened by the need to define identity, because attention becomes available for the work itself, rather than divided between the work and the self-evaluation surrounding the work. Many people experience moments when work feels absorbing, engaging, clear, even enjoyable. Moments when attention is simply on the task, on the problem, on the creation, on the interaction, without constant internal commentary, without constant comparison, without constant concern about identity. In those moments, work often flows more easily, because energy is directed toward participation rather than toward protecting the self-image. Psychological weight often interrupts this flow. Thought introduces evaluation. How am I doing? Am I performing well enough? What does this mean about me? What if I fail? What if I cannot maintain this? What if I fall behind? What if I am not good enough? These questions create internal pressure. Pressure divides attention. Part of attention moves towards self-monitoring. Part of attention moves away from the task. This division often reduces clarity, reduces creativity, reduces responsiveness. Because attention is split, work without the extra weight allows attention to remain more unified, more available, more engaged with what is actually happening. This often improves effectiveness, because responsiveness increases, adaptability increases, Creativity increases. Problem-solving improves. Work often becomes more efficient when it is not burdened by constant psychological tension. Effort becomes more sustainable because the system is not under continuous internal pressure. Pressure often creates cycles, periods of intense pushing, followed by exhaustion, followed by avoidance, followed by renewed pressure, followed by renewed pushing. But sustainable effort often includes steadiness, consistency, rhythm. Work becomes part of daily participation rather than a constant internal emergency. Not every moment of work needs to feel urgent. Not every task needs to feel critical. Not every project needs to feel defining. Some work is simply part of maintaining life, maintaining systems, maintaining relationships, maintaining functionality. Functional work does not need to feel dramatic in order to be valuable. Many essential contributions happen quietly, gradually, consistently, without constant recognition, without constant validation, without constant excitement. Yet these contributions matter, not because they feel dramatic, but because they support ongoing participation in life. Psychological weight often convinces people that work must feel intense in order to be meaningful. But meaning can exist without intensity. Contribution can exist without pressure. Value can exist without tension. Work can be approached seriously without feeling heavy. Care can be present without constant concern. Commitment can be steady without feeling strained. You may still care deeply about what you do, still aim to improve, still seek stability, still pursue opportunities, still develop skills, still grow professionally, but without the constant feeling that everything about you depends on each outcome. Work is one part of life, an important part, but not the entire definition of existence. When work becomes the primary source of identity, psychological pressure often increases. Because fluctuations in work begin to feel like fluctuations in self-worth. But identity does not need to be entirely built on productivity, or performance, or progress. Work contributes to life. It does not need to carry the entire psychological meaning of life. Many people feel pressure to always be improving, always progressing, always optimizing, always advancing. But progress is not always linear. Learning includes periods of plateau, periods of experimentation, periods of consolidation, periods of integration. Not every day needs to show visible advancement. Some days maintain stability. Some days maintain structure. Some days maintain continuity. Continuity matters. Stability matters. Consistency matters. Work often includes repetition, maintenance, refinement, small adjustments, incremental improvements. These forms of contribution may not feel dramatic, but they support long-term development. Psychological weight often comes from expecting constant visible progress, but growth often includes quiet phases. Phases where foundations strengthen, skills deepen, understanding matures. Without obvious external change, work becomes lighter when progress is not constantly demanded to be visible, when development is allowed to unfold gradually. Work without the extra weight does not mean caring less. It means removing unnecessary internal pressure, removing the need to constantly prove something, removing the belief that every outcome determines personal value, removing the constant comparison between where you are and where you believe you should be. Comparison often creates tension because there is always someone ahead, someone faster, someone more experienced, someone more successful. But comparison rarely improves performance. It often increases insecurity, reduces focus, reduces clarity, reduces satisfaction. Work becomes more workable when attention is on the work itself, on learning, on improving, on responding to real conditions, rather than constantly referencing others. Paths differ, timelines differ, circumstances differ, resources differ, opportunities differ. Each path develops uniquely. Comparison often ignores these differences. Work often improves more effectively when energy is directed toward participation rather than evaluation, toward contribution rather than comparison, toward engagement rather than judgment. You can still aim high, still set goals, still pursue development, but without turning every moment of work into measurement of identity, without turning every challenge into evidence of inadequacy, without turning every delay into evidence of failure. Work often includes experimentation, trying approaches, learning from results, adjusting direction, Refining process. Experimentation includes uncertainty. Uncertainty includes learning. Learning includes temporary difficulty. Temporary difficulty does not define permanent ability. Capability develops through interaction with challenge, through continued engagement, through willingness to refine. Work without the extra weight allows challenges to remain workable, not overwhelming, not defining, just part of development. You can still show up, still contribute, still improve, still grow, but without the constant background feeling that everything must go perfectly, without the constant pressure to secure identity through performance. Identity can remain flexible, open, evolving, rather than dependent on each outcome. Work becomes part of life, not the measure of life. Participation becomes more sustainable because the system is not under constant internal strain. Energy becomes available for creativity, for problem solving, for collaboration, for learning, for contribution. When psychological weight decreases, engagement often improves. Because attention is not consumed by self-protection, but available for participation. Work continues, effort continues, development continues, but the extra pressure begins to fall away. And what remains is often a steadier way of contributing, one that allows growth without constant tension, contribution without constant pressure, participation without constant self-measurement. Work still matters, but it does not need to feel heavy in order to matter. You can take your work seriously, without carrying unnecessary psychological weight. And often, that makes the work more effective, more sustainable, more aligned with how growth actually happens, gradually, step by step, through continued participation. If this episode helped you see that not every moment needs to carry meaning in order to be part of a meaningful life, consider subscribing to the channel. This space explores how clarity, direction, and understanding can develop naturally when the mind no longer feels the need to interpret everything all the time. If this conversation resonated with you, liking the video helps more people discover a quieter way of living that does not require constant analysis or constant answers. You can also share this with someone who may feel mentally exhausted from trying to figure everything out and could benefit from allowing some moments to simply be as they are. There are more episodes in this season that continue exploring how life can feel lighter when experience is no longer being constantly evaluated. Meaning can still appear, insight can still develop, understanding can still grow, but not everything needs to be explained right now. I'll see you in the next episode.